Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another high-level Marvel Rivals ranked cast. As usual, I am Tetcher, and today we have a very fun game for you, at least I hope so, judging by the end screen that I have, which is basically how I tell. I look at the screen, if it looks interesting, I jump onto the game. We've got some fun stuff here. We've got Tanooki, we've got Alex, we've got olegattoor, who is appearing on so many, and of course, we have Dridro and Jur3ky returning again. Jur3ky becoming a very quick favourite on the channel due to being an absolute Jeff T word that we're not allowed to say on YouTube if we don't want to get demonetized. Yay! So, we're going to be getting ready to jump into that. But first, as usual, the reminder to like, comment, and subscribe on the video to help it in the algorithm and to help us reach our 5,000 sub goal. I'm recording a load of these in one day, so we're about 34, 36 away from hitting that 5,000 sub goal. And when we do that, I'll be starting to stream on Twitch as well after my vacation, which is from the 1st until the 4th or 5th, give or take, depending on how many days I need to recover. Hooray! And of course, as usual, a big shout out to our members, the people who don't want me to rely on just AdSense because it fluctuates and can be problematic sometimes depending on the general economic climate, and the money can go down. My AdSense, of course, has gone down fairly recently due to situations in the world, as it were. So a big shout out to the people who choose to help the channel out in a reliable way. Not everyone can afford this, and I do understand that, but these people are able to, and it's incredibly appreciated, so they get a shout out at the beginning of every video. Puff, Mendili, Roshula, Doki Poki, and John, our longest running member, John. Big ups to John. They help keep this channel going. Thank you all for that. And of course, make sure you follow the Twitch in the description below, as well as my socials, so you can see when I go live, when I do events, if I get hired for things. Business email in the description below if you want to ask me to cast your tournament. For now, though, we have a game to cast. So let's get ourselves in there and start covering the wonderful match. It's going to be a Spider Islands game, which we have not had many of during our ranked casts here. Let's jump on in and see what we have going on. Blue team. Jur3ky, of course, hovering on that Jeff. Now, this is something we can't see in this mode. We see the players' names right away. I don't know for sure if the players are actually going to be hiding their names or not. Some of these players may have their names hidden with streamer mode. This is potentially a good idea for them, especially if they are someone like Jur3ky, who's potentially a bit more of a... has definitely a preference hero. Not a one trick. They literally have. They're actually in the clan. Not a one trick because they can also play Rocket. That is the clan subtext, and I love that. That's really funny. They're in there with like Raziel and people like that. It's really funny. So they're probably hiding their name, but of course they still need to reveal their character choice to their team. Groot. Looking at the second band, so we're going to lose Groot and the Hulk, unless that Hela sneaks on through. Martanax. Okay, Martanax does not get the Hela bad with the Soldier and Psylocke. Going to be the bands for red team, who are almost all hovering damage right now, except for Alex. Okay, we got mahimXDgamer. And at least one Vanguard. Quack, bringing out the Vanguard for blue team. They are also having multiple people hover the DPS. Looks like we may end up with solo tank compositions for both of these teams unless Martanax is willing to swap off here. Dridro was on Lunar Snow, but might swap off. We'll have to see. Well, they're rolling out. We got the Lunar Snow. Martanax is yet to lock in. Let's see what they go for. Ooh, Jur3ky starting off on Loki, actually. Not on their signature Jeff. Oh, never mind. Maybe. Invisible Woman. All right. Well, let's introduce our players on the left-hand side on defense of Spider Islands. It is going to be Jur3ky. Ooh, I always mess that up as well. Don't worry about it, buddy. That is going to be Jur3ky on the Invisible Woman. Dridro will be playing the Lunar Snow. Touzii on the Hela. Nárg is playing the Human Torch. Martanax will be bringing out that Wolverine, and Quack on the Captain America. No defensive Vanguard at all for this team. And on the other side, on attack, The red team, Alex on the Lunar Snow. Vape for ELO. That sounds like a Necros Smurf. They are playing the Spider-Man. That might be a Necros Smurf. How that play went. That was awesome. Not finding the pickup, but still setting up for their team. Tanooki is playing the Jeff. 9x10 is playing the Black Widow here. Mahim is on that Emma Frost. And olegattoor will be bringing out the Human Torch. Going in for the duel right off the bat, but still going to be playing a little bit low to make sure that they are topped up. Vape getting locked down here. Martanax picked off though. Quack as the solo Vanguard here, trying to just dive in. This has just turned into Doom match. Everyone's just running around looking for eliminations here. Martanax has swapped onto the Star-Lord here. As we said earlier, both these teams looking for... Vape just got knocked out and picked off here. Both these teams running solo Vanguard compositions. 9x10 getting absolutely rushed down here. Very outnumbered, but the healers are arriving in time to keep them topped up. Vape caught in the Pyro Prison will get topped back up to full. Big hit onto the cap there, locking him down and getting the elimination. Diving into the backline and finding another onto Jur3ky. Nárg with the Supernova, trying to take advantage of this tight enclosed area. Finds olegattoor and Tanooki, and they will finally get taken down by Vape as dridro is solo delaying right now. Will back away once that ultimate expires. Second spectacular spin interrupted with the Soul Siphon from Touzii as Quack is trying to delay the point here. Give their team some time. Here comes the Freedom Charge to give themselves a little bit of extra time, and they've successfully driven them back. Tanooki comes in with the Swallow, allowing Quack back onto the point to keep holding. Focus down the Jeff. Not enough though, but it looks like Tanooki was able to take down two, taking himself out as well, removing both the strategists, meaning Quack is all alone. That health is what they've got, unless they can find a health pack, which they can't. Touzii onto the Strange to delay even more. They keeping it going. The strategist here as well. Invisible boundary coming out from Jur3ky to buy the time through this. Supernova from olegattoor to try and meld on through. But Martanax is flanking from behind. Galactic Legend, but can't find the elimination. Media M absorbing most of that. olegattoor barely getting away, getting chased down. Less than a percentage of health, but is topped back up to full. Blaster Barrage finds no one. Double Vanguard now for blue team as Quack still on a Vanguard, still on that Magneto now as Touzii already charged up to ultimate with that Doctor Strange. Ayamoto onto all of the retreating strategists. Finds two, looks for the third. Huge damage there. Will get taken down by Vape, but olegattoor is taken down by Nárg as well. Alex and Tanooki and 9x10 all stunned out here. Alex will survive the longest and is able to keep their team topped up. dridro, who has moved on to Rocket with the Seer to buy some extra time there. Sends out a little bit of damage onto 9x10. And what a hold right now, but here comes Tanooki. Tanooki and Jur3ky are actually two of the most legendary flanking Jeff players I have ever seen. Seeing them in the same game like this and not seeing Jur3ky playing the Jeff is going to give me an aneurysm. Tanooki on the run, spectacular spin. Vape takes out Jur3ky. Quack goes down, Martanax goes down. Quack will get revived at the BRB. But with Nárg down, dridro trying to keep Touzii up, but they are focused down. Picked off. That is gonna be enough. olegattoor off of the Human Torch, now on the Rocket Raccoon of their own. They have chosen to run triple strategist here. Give more room for Tanooki to move on the flank and do exactly this. Jur3ky, how does it feel, buddy? A taste of your own medicine gets taken out. Tanooki on the run. Nárg continues to siege from above. Trying to deal with this frickin' shark. Jeff on the move. So hard to pin down. Flaming Meteor to try and lock him in, but he's already full health. You can't be distracted by Jeff unless you've got enough people to actually burst them down, because right now Tanooki does not care. Finally, they send enough people to turn around and take that fight as Vape for ELO takes advantage of the distraction and takes out Martanax, utilizing the shield from Magneto. Trying to go for an off-map pull there, not able to find it. Spectacular spin, invisible boundary, and the supernova. Media M to try and get a burst, does not land on Nárg. Focus down, Jeff Swallow comes out. Sends Quack to their doom. Mahim pushed off by the invisible woman as well. Jur3ky once again stuck in the duel versus the Jeff. Down goes Jur3ky, down goes dridro. Alex with the fade of both worlds keeps pushing in. 9/10 has that plasma burst. Has been on the Black Widow this entire time. We're seeing a lot more Black Widow this season. Sees the Human Torch, and that might be why we're seeing a lot more Black Widow. With the Human Torch seeing a lot more play, having someone who can two-cap them is going to give you a lot more space to make plays. That's going to be a plasma burst. Vape for ELO takes out Nárg as Martanax is in the sky, but it's getting burst down very quickly here. Will find 9/10 though, and try to get those final blows onto Magneto. Will not be able to find a finishing blow, but blue team are holding, driving them back right now. Jur3ky onto the Loki now. Olegattoor brings back Vape for ELO with the BRB. Tanooki is still on the flank. Still landing that poke damage. Keeping the team topped up. Finds dridro. Media M for Quack. Good damage. Not enough to land the finishing blow onto 9/10. Trying to buy as much time as they can. Vape for ELO, spectacular spin into the backline as the Seer comes out to buy some time. But dridro has already fallen, Quack's already fallen. Touzii and Nárg are both down. And with just a smidge of overtime left, Martanax is forced to back away. Chased down by the Spider-Man. And that's going to be Vape for ELO getting the elimination here as the push continues. 1 minute, 15 seconds left, meaning we are going to be pushing in overtime. Tanooki saying hi to dridro. And Jur3ky giving each other a little bit of a wave as they pass. Alex keeps the team topped up. Touzii pulled off the side by Vape. Trying to land another pickup. The Mord has come out for Martanax. Even without the Hulk team up, they want to get rid of this friggin' Spider-Man and do some damage to Jeff when they try to wrap around, who is actually taking a fair amount of damage from that Pyro prison. Dropped low, has to bubble. Will be able to escape back up to full. Mahim keeps the pressure going. Flown from Jur3ky onto dridro, so they've got two Fade of both worlds right now. They need to start making a play with it, because otherwise they've wasted quite a big ult here. They've still go with that two-tank setup, bringing out Quack with their Emma Frost here. Touzii sticking with the Magneto. Jeff, a double, takes out both the Vanguards. Touzii and Quack are both gone. Martanax taken out by Tanooki. dridro with the chain Fade of both worlds. While they are keeping what's left of the team topped up, their team is still outnumbered. Meteor M coming in to burst on through, finds dridro and Nárg as red team are powering through this. Blue team in absolute shambles, staggered terrifically here. They're getting zoned so hard. Touzii goes down. Martanax, you might be the last chance for your team here. Horde of Proteus needs to come in to buy any time you can. On the point, into the backline, trying to take out Alex, but the healing is too good. That's an interesting freeze. Did not know you could be frozen mid-air. Okay, that was interesting. But it's not enough for the pickup. It is enough to drive them off for the overtime, though. That will be a hold by blue team. Red team scored 2 points, 107 meters, 85 centimeters. What an intense match this has turned out to be so far. Let's look at our statistics. 26 eliminations, 17 of which are final hits. This is a good Spider-Man game. And look at this. We may see A little bit of role swap in here as olegattoor was hovering the Venom there. Might want to give Vape that little bit of extra sustain, but it means someone else may have to pick up the support role. olegattoor caught between a third support, or more likely second support, as Tanooki is playing like an assassin here. Jur3ky's bringing out the Jeff of their own. Looks like we're going to have a Jeff war after all. Meaning we're seeing a dual Vanguard, double Strategist, single Duelist, and one Jeff composition for blue team versus a solo Vanguard, double Duelist, double Burst Duelist, two Strategist, and one Jeff for red team. In terms of actual composition build, I think I prefer blue teams. My concern is Human Torch as a solo quote-unquote DPS is going to get focused down really hard. But that's why they have the Invisible Woman and the Lunar Snow, both of which can keep Nárg up. You can see they have the Snowball, and all of that attention is going to be on keeping Nárg in this game. Tanooki saying that it doesn't matter. They're going to keep Nárg in the game because Jeff is a menace. Jur3ky, though, also on the flank, coming in from behind, finds Team Loki. Not able to get the finishing blow. Tanooki putting a lot of attention onto Nárg here. Trying to get the finishing blows, not enough. Up to the high ground. We're going to be jumping between the Jeffs here as they try to find an advantage. Hyper mobile, just trying to annoy the Spider-Mans. Nice pickups. Pulled in. Focus down. On the move. Trying to get out of danger. Cap gets locked down once again, but Quack going to be pushing in. They're zoning the backline, hollowing them out from back to front here. Focus onto Magneto will take them down. Tanooki is still on the flank, still causing issues. Whoa! Nicely done, dridro! Sees a Jeff for a split second and it's on sight. Fantastic pickup. Fave3LO try to mirror some of that success by going for a pull off the map of their own, waiting for the map heal. Unable to get it this time, but while all that's happening, while they're waiting for a map heal, they're forced to come back in, focus down, and absolutely obliterated. Jur3ky coming in, keeping the few defenders that are left off the point. Tanooki will fall, and that's going to be point number one, grabbed by blue team. Wrapping around, looking for the turnaround. olegattoor on this Loki has that God of Mischief at the ready. They could go in theory for the double Jeff chop here. Plasma Burst, 4-9 by 10. Trying to focus down Jeff and the Cap here. Not able to find either as they're rushing into the backline. It's a full-on run it down composition. This is exactly what people have been talking about with the Season 2 changes. How it's just encouraging an absolute pile-on for backline members. And it's looking pretty rough here as Red Team are once again getting absolutely hollowed out. Tanooki forced to retreat up to the high ground, but with their team getting zoned back so far, the backline can now focus all of their efforts onto hitting this freaking shark. Gonna heal up Vape with a speed boost. Doesn't find a pull. Coming in to the invisible boundary, will not go for a spectacular spin. Finds a pull though, Magneto taken out. Doesn't matter how much damage you do, if you're pulled off the side, then the value is there. Both Jeffs having the ult available. Trying to find Lunar Snow, will get it. Alex is the only target they really need. Tanooki tried to catch them. That was so, oh, okay, here comes the second. And down they go. That was a clone there. Spectacular spin comes out. What chaos that was. That was Jur3ky swallowing Alex, who went ran past. olegattoor tried to catch them mid-air, but did not get the area and wasn't able to get the pickup. But Tanooki was able to get the pickup. While we still lost Alex, they were able to get revenge and take out Jur3ky. That was a triple Jeff ultimate play. Whack, once again, in the backline, being a menace. Pulled in with the Soul Siphon there, forced to back away. The Freedom Charge giving them enough overhealth to keep them in this fight. Nice bounce with the charge, forces Hella into the air. Trying to get onto the Human Torch. Oh no, it's Dark Card. Down goes 9x10 off of that Black Widow here. Fate of Both Worlds has to be burned by Alex because they're still getting poked, still getting harassed from the side. Jur3ky in the backline, causing pressure. Tanooki in their own team's backline here, acting defensively. Vape takes out Touzii again. The exact same way, pulling them off the side. Supernova for Nárg at 1 hit point. Grabs a map heal. Goes for the duel. Spectacular spin inside the invisible boundary. The counter was quick here. Vape going to be just moving away. Hyper speed here. Looking for some healing, getting healed up thanks to that Lunar Snowflake here. Nárg doesn't have their own teams. It's going to be Cap, who in the backline is still piling on the pressure. Will retreat to their team to make sure that they can keep the pressure on. The card is still moving slowly but steadily. They are creeping towards the point. Here comes it. It's Jeff. Tanooki will be the target. Jur3ky not going to get caught out, not when in that burrowed underwater form. Now Jur3ky coming in with their own. Looking for Alex once again. Will catch them once again. The focus is real. Going to stagger that elimination. Waits out for the full duration. Olegattoor trying to hold the line here. Will get taken down. Tanooki is falling. Jur3ky on the flank once again. Nárg from above. And it's the slows coming in from the Lunar in Snow empowered Jeff. Allowing Nárg to land so many pyro prisons to just lock down enemies into a massive damage output. Focus down, gets a little bit of extra healing. Vape. Playing high up, looking for another pull potentially. Wants to try and focus Nárg, but not enough DPS. Not yet, at least. Olegattoor. A little bit of a bug on the display here. They are not currently ulting. No visible boundary. Nárg, on the other hand, will be supernovering through the doorway. There's that finish line, and the card is creeping towards it. But it looks like we will see a little bit of a zone as Alex, Fate of Both Worlds, on the front line is keeping the rest of the members of the attacking side zoned away. Blue team healing back up. Spider getting taken out by Jeff. The Jeff flag, extremely scary, and Jur3ky finally giving in. Here comes the It's Jeff. That's a triple. That's more like it. One. And runs off with the rest. It's a full-on stagger, leaving Tanooki and Vape all alone here. 9x10 respawns. Tanooki is trying to buy time. Bubbles to keep themselves topped up. Here comes the ultimate. Who will they find? Finds Jeff and Luna. Focus down beautifully though. Quack with the DPS. And once again, blue team are diving deep, looking for the setup. Vape is trying to get anyone down, but they need to be touching that point. Bit high. Coming down. They're in range. That's buying them a second or two, but down they go. And is there anyone left? Tanooki buys time, but the car moves on in. And blue team takes the round in a 3-2. Winning on distance, but there's a solid chance they might have got the triple there. And Jur3ky finding another MVP. Seems to be happening almost every single game that I cast them here. I'm so happy that they did actually go Jeff in the end. So we got to see a matchup of them versus Tanooki. It's just that Tanooki was on the team with the solo Vanguard, and as such, they did not seem to be able to deal with the Jeff in the same way. Let's have a look at the statistics. MVP is Jur3ky with 39 eliminations. 35 for Nárg, 34 for Vape, 32 for 9x10. What an incredibly high elimination game. But in terms of final hits, it's so close. Jur3ky with 22, Nárg with 23. Vape does take it with 24, and at least several of those were environmental eliminations. What a play. Least amount of times getting eliminated is Alex, despite being absolutely targeted by Jur3ky in that late game. Alex was still able to stay up and keep their team topped up, and also top the healing numbers with 35k. Top damage going to be the 30k coming in from Nárg. Makes sense. Really packing on those damage numbers, not having to worry too much about getting burst, while Vape did go in for some dives, was not able to land too much of finishing blows. Damage blocked! 42k, the solo Vanguard, big surprise there, absorbing a fair amount of damage, but it's nowhere near what the dual Vanguards were able to absorb. 37 for Quack, 30 for Touzii. Both of them doing a great job absorbing their team, but look at the rest of the team. 17k, 17k, 15k, and 11k compared to the other side. 12, 12, 14, 19, 14. It still adds up that the more Vanguard team actually absorbed more damage. And top healing, we've already mentioned it. 35k for Alex, doing such an insane job for their team. Keeping them topped up, keeping them in the fights. That is going to be a solid win for Blue Team. And we once again see the power of Jeff on the flank. It appears so often in ranked. I cannot wait for Season 2 MRC to begin to see if we see it continue, return, and get even more plays. For now, though, I hope you all enjoyed today's game. I hope you had a good time, because I certainly did bring it to you. I'm still absolutely obsessed that we see Tanooki versus Jur3ky. I hope if Jur3ky's not on a team in MRC, I hope they find one, because they're really good, and I enjoy watching them play, so I hope we get to see that. Of course, we saw olegattoor. Looks like they appear to be LFT at the moment, according to the name. That might just be a different account name, but they're available. They're really good. So if you're looking for someone, might I recommend. For now, though, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you've all enjoyed today's games. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to help continue helping this channel grow. I have been Tetcher, and I will see you all tomorrow.